Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, everyone! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I am very excited to be welcoming Brookefield newcomer, Christopher Russell, who is playing the Mountie Michael Fletcher on When Hope
There you
Calls.
go. You gotta say that three times fast.
Yes. Welcome to the podcast, Christopher.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to chat with you today.
yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
So, my first question is, what led you to pursue a career in acting and how did you get started in the industry?
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking that. So, this is a story I've told many times now. I was a young preschooler and I was cast in the nativity scene for our Christmas play as the donkey that helped shepherd Jesus into the
Okay.
world. And I don't know, I remember having a blast doing it. And after that, every chance I got in elementary school, I would sign up for the plays they were doing. And I remember watching this is very specific. It was a movie with Tom Cruise. It's apparently his least favorite movie. It's called Legend. And I remember watching it when I was about 5 and thinking, I want to do that. I want to I want to ride unicorns and save princesses
Yeah.
and fight demons.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess the closest thing to that would be acting. And so that's what I did. I just started doing every play that came along and theater camps. And in high school, I was in the drama club. Um, I was really, really into it. And then um, my seventh grade teacher was at a banquet I was working when I was about 19, 20. Um, I was like a caterer.
Mhm.
And she told me that her daughter had an agent and kind of referred me to this agent. And then from there, I just started auditioning and slowly getting work. And over time, built a career. And here we are.
Awesome. And you're a fantastic actor. I'm glad that you're part of the Hallmark and Great American Family family.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And you mentioned Tom Cruise. Do you have a favorite Tom Cruise movie?
My favorite one is actually probably the new Top Gun, Top Gun Maverick.
I saw that. That was good. I think that was
Yeah.
the last movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, really? Well, when I saw it, I got teary-eyed
It's good.
as soon as it opened. Yeah. I
Great. Yeah.
don't know if it has the same effect on people that weren't around when the first one came out. I'm not sure, but for me, I got emotional about it.
Yeah. I've never seen the first one, but I still really enjoyed Top Gun.
Well, good. Then it works for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes. I'll have to go back and watch the original because I've heard that one's a good one.
Yeah.
So, what was your first big role? Was that in TV, theater, or film?
De depends how you define that. I mean, I had a quite a few big roles in high school, but they were unprofessional,
Yeah.
amateur theater.
Yeah.
But like my first big professional role when I was like 23, I did a lead in an indie movie called Gangster Exchange. So that would be my first. That would have been my first big role, but it didn't pay
Oh, yeah.
anything. But I guess my first ticking all the boxes big role um, would have been Midnight Masquerade for the Hallmark Channel.
Okay.
I don't know
Yes.
if you've seen that one.
I have not seen that one, but I need to go check that one out. I
Yeah,
hope.
that one was with Autumn Research. That would have been my first
Yeah,
lead in
awesome.
a Hallmark movie. And I think it's like their only Halloween movie.
I think one of the few. Yeah. There's not
Yeah.
many. There needs to be more Halloween movies.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's like the
Yeah.
reverse Cinderella story,
Okay.
right? Like
Yeah.
the lost slipper and the whole bit, but
Yeah.
instead I'm the Cinderella.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite rom-coms with Hilary Duff. Love that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So could you share a little bit about how you got that role for Hallmark?
Yeah,
How-
sure. I just auditioned like everybody else. They were looking at, I don't even know how many guys, there's a lot of us. And then they called me back for a second audition where I met the producers and the director. And then they called me back for a third audition, with new scenes
Yeah.
to really, seal the deal. And then I got the part.
That's awesome. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to go watch it. Hopefully it's on Hallmark Plus. Fingers crossed.
Probably is, yeah,
I think
probably is.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you consider is the most challenging aspect of the audition process?
Ooh. Well, it's changed so much now. So
Yeah,
since 2020, it's all
COVID.
over the computer.
Hmm.
So everything, first you send your audition tape, they still call it a tape. So you send your audition
Yeah.
to whoever in the digital world, and then hopefully they look at it. And then they will call you back and we'll do like a Zoom session like this.
Okay.
And what I don't like about it now is that in the Zoom sessions, you could have like six or seven or even more producers and network executives and whoever on the call, but because they're muted, like you can't get a feel for the room like you used to be able to back when it was in person.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing like a comedy, it's just gonna be completely silent when you like,
Oh,
was it funny? Did
yeah,
I don't know. So that's what it's like now. So yeah, the audition process now is you send a tape. If they like it, they'll bring you in for a Zoom call back.
yeah.
Sometimes I've heard that they are putting people together, but
Mhm.
I've yet to see that in the past 5 years.
Yeah. I would say that is challenging. I would definitely prefer if I were an actor to, do it in person, but I can completely understand why things have changed because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's so like that instant feedback you can
Yeah.
get by meeting the
Hmm.
people, and then
Yeah.
if they have a different way that they'd like to see it, it's easier to
Yeah.
communicate that in person, but it is what it is now.
Definitely. Yeah. Even when I was in drama class as well, I enjoyed the
Yeah.
instant feedback. I did a couple of productions, like in
Oh
elementary
yeah.
school. My class did a play at the end of every year. So, like first grade, I had a play, second
Fun.
grade, third grade, so on and so
Yeah.
on. And then I was in drama class in sixth through ninth grade. And then I changed schools. And my high school, where I graduated from, they didn't have a high school drama class, unfortunately. So I didn't get to take drama then.
Oh, well, it's never too late.
No, but it was always fun. When you're given a role, what is the process like for learning the script and getting into that character?
It's a good question. Um, Usually what I'll do is I'll just read the script a few times, j- just to get a feel for the rhythm of the whole story.
Yeah.
And then um, I'll go through it again, but then I'll start just highlighting every time my name is like mentioned, not just when I speak, but an action I'm doing or if another character talks about me. Then I'll go through it again and I'll just sort of circle certain things that stand out. And if I have any questions about it, I'll write them down, I'll make notes, and then yeah, I just start going through it like that over and over again until it sinks in with no expectations. Um, I'll read my lines out loud and then the other characters in my head
Yeah.
as I go through it. So then I really get a sense of what's happening. And then, yeah, you just kind of discover things that way. And depending on the project, I'll email the director and ask them some questions about some parts of it that might not be making sense to me or any ideas I might have, and just take it from there.
That's a great process. And I
Yeah.
think for me, when I took drama class, my biggest fear was I was going to forget a line.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
forget.
That's the benefit of film
Yeah,
is that if you do forget a line, you can do it again.
yeah, very true. Yeah.
But I really like a lot of people, a lot of actors
Yeah.
have this way about them where they don't want to be too prepared because they think it makes them less organic and less natural. But for me, the more prepared I am, the more organic and natural I can be because then I'm not worried about do I know the lines or not. I can think about everything else going on and the lines will just come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that you were in an episode of Supernatural starring Jared, I apologize if I mispronounce his
He's
name,
Padalecki.
Padalecki, and The Irrational starring Jesse L. Martin. Although I
Yeah.
have not seen those shows, I have been a fan of Jared and Jesse from their days on Gilmore Girls and Law and Order. Did you get to meet them and work with them in any scenes?
Yeah, so both of them. So I'll start with Supernatural. Oh wow, that was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh, that was one of my first big guest stars. And yeah, I got to work with Jensen and Jared on that. And what had happened was I was so Jensen Ackles, who plays the brother of Jared on that show,
Yeah.
he had an episode where he traveled in time where one of his no, a version of him came back in time. Sorry.
Okay.
So the whole episode was him with him, right? So the two guys. So
Okay.
they were looking for someone who was around the same height and
Okay.
he could act off of for those scenes so they could do like the over the shoulder stuff and then that way he'd have someone to act with when he obviously couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
So so I met with him and I went to the studio and we had like a meeting and stuff and we hit it off and it went well. But then in the end, he decided to use his stunt double.
Okay.
But then the other episode came up and then they got me on that way, which was better for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just really nice and funny and accommodating. Maybe at the time because I was a bit green. I don't know if intimidated is the right word, but I was definitely impressed
Yeah.
because they were just so confident and able to just make jokes with each other right up until they called action, and then all of a sudden they're in character. So I think I took a lot in working with them about how to conduct yourself on set to some degree.
Yeah.
And then Jesse L. Martin, that was about 2 years ago now on The Irrational. Oh, he's the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so warm and welcoming, and my character was a lot of fun on that show. I got to be I got to be pretty funny, and he he could see that I was ready to improv and do whatever if
Yeah.
that was the environment, and it was. So he'd give me like little things to add on that wasn't in the script, and I'd roll with them, and it was a good time
Oh,
for sure.
that's awesome. I'll have to go check out those shows because I've heard good things about both of them.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard-
Supernatural, if you want to get through the whole series, you'll be watching it for the next 5 years, I think. They've got like 15 seasons or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to go check it out. And Jesse and Jared are both fantastic actors.
Yeah.
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 And my dad is a huge Law and Order fan. That's how I started watching Law and Order. My dad
Yeah,
loved,
what's crazy about that is Jesse L. Martin's on Law and Order, and he's a serious, by the book
yeah.
police officer.
Mhm.
But then you go see him on The Irrational or meet him in person. That is not his temperament at all.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He's like a very artsy, kind of
Yeah,
funny.
I can see that. So moving on to Hallmark Channel and Great American Family, your work outside of When Hope Calls includes projects such as Good Witch, A Dream of Christmas, Nature of Love, A Dash of Christmas, A Costa Rican Wedding, Chasing Waterfalls, and Santa Tell Me most recently.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about how you got connected with the networks, and are there any fun memories to share from filming those movies?
Yeah, so as I mentioned,
Yeah.
my first big one was Midnight Masquerade, so that's how I got connected with the network, but it was sort of a slow introduction for me. And then I like a year later I did a Christmas movie, Merry Matrimony,
Yes.
with
Mhm.
Jessica Lowndes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then yeah, just kind of just kept doing them, and then I got into the nature ones like Nature of Love and Chasing Waterfalls, um, in more recent years, and that I feel like that's sort of my I don't want to say my niche, but that's sort of where I fit best. Because at first I was always getting the clean shaven
Mhm.
suit wearing characters,
Yeah.
but really I'm as you can see, the scruffy plaid shirt wearing
Yeah.
outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nature of Love, that was great. You know what happened on that one? So we were shooting a scene where we're down by the river,
Okay.
um, talking about, just like the usual
Mhm.
taking in nature and being, um, calm and collected and not worrying about the outside world and put your phone down kind of thing. And there's actually a black bear right on the other side of the river, like maybe 20, 25 feet away,
Mhm.
fishing for salmon
Oh my goodness.
while we're shooting.
Well,
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So that was exciting.
I'd be freaked out. Be like,
And then on Chasing Waterfalls, which was with Cindy Busby, who
yes,
is on One Hope Calls with
yes.
me as well. Chasing Waterfalls, we had to do this scene where we go to the bottom of a waterfall and we kind of go swimming.
Hmm.
But that particular waterfall in real life was glacial runoff coming from the top of the mountain.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it was freezing. It was like ice
Oh.
water.
Mm.
It was like ice water.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
there's a part where we have to like go swimming in it and then like pop up and
Yeah.
kind of like peck her on the cheek and then swim off. It's like, we only could do that once because we were
Um,
maybe more me than her, but it was just so cold and I was like just shivering and we had to get out of there. And it was summer too, like it was warm
mhm.
outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not as serene and peaceful as it looks in the movie.
Oh, well, it's a great scene. Y'all did a great job. I didn't even notice.
Oh, thank you.
I can't imagine getting in that myself.
No, I'm not into the whole cold plunge thing after that. Let me tell you.
No. Do you have a favorite role on and off Hallmark that you've had the opportunity to play throughout your career?
Favorite role on Hallmark? Uh, it would be any one of you know what? I think actually I like them all in different ways.
Mhm.
Most recently, I really like Chasing Waterfalls and Nature of Love,
Yeah, that's
even Love in the Forecast.
hmm.
Um, but I think the one that really stands out for me is the Most Colorful Time of Year,
That was a fun one. Yes, I really
where
enjoyed
I
it.
play the colorblind
Yes.
teacher.
Mhm.
Um, I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed working with the kids and playing a teacher, and I felt like it was a really good, inspiring message.
Yeah, it was.
Um, so I'd probably say Most Colorful Time of Year is my favorite role on Hallmark. Um, Off Hallmark, um, I played a character in Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is on Netflix. Um, it's a ridiculous character. His name's Panto Trost. He's
Okay.
from a fantasy world that was created by a 10-year-old boy, and it's come to life. He's like got pink hair. He's got swords that are basically giant scissors.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and he's called the Bubblegum Prince.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, and I loved it. And I loved every minute of it. So that would be my favorite one off Hallmark, and then Mountie Michael Fletcher on When Hope Calls as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. You've done a great
Yeah.
job in all of your roles. So
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome. I think for me, that is a really hard question because, as I've mentioned, I really have loved all of your roles, but I think my favorites are Nature of Love, Most Colorful Time of the Year, and I really did enjoy Santa Tell Me. That was a really fun
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had fun on that one too. You know what? I really did. So it's hard to.
one.
Yeah, I forget. I don't know. They're all.
Okay,
I'm trying to pick
don't
one, but
worry.
no.
Don't worry.
Santa Tell Me was a riot.
Yes,
And with Ben Irons on that. we were allowed to do a lot of improv on that movie. So
Yes.
if you think that that candy cane fight was scripted, you are incorrect.
No, I think if I remember correctly, I had Jess on before the movie premiered, and I think she was saying that was improv. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. That was
I
awesome.
love it. And then when she comes out, we're trying to get her to pick one, but then
Yeah.
we're kind of now on each other's side after the
Yeah.
fight. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when Ben's talking about he rented the ice rink.
Yeah. Oh, that
He's
was
like, that
nice.
must have been expensive.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
That was
And the
awesome.
other part too, when I say I think I speak for all of us,
Yes.
and Ben says he does speak for all of us, and then Kurt says correct. They could call that. Oh,
Awesome. Oh my goodness.
we had the best time making that one.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that it won your award there.
Yes. Me too. Yes. Awesome. And
They also had the highest viewers for that year for
yes, so
Christmas
way to
movie.
go. Hardee's and Hallmarkies. Of course, the Hardee's are a huge
Yeah.
fan base. And they know of Dan and Aaron from, Dan's time on the show as Mountie Jack Thornton. What was
Yeah.
it like working with the two of them?
Well, it was great.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did just very nice, kind,
Yeah.
normal people for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yes.
Um,
Fantastic ensemble cast.
yeah.
Which role has had the biggest impact on you and why? And do you have a favorite genre you enjoy working in the most?
Ooh, biggest impact. There's a few. Like I'll go back to Panto Trost on Dirk Gently. That had a big impact on me because I'd always wanted to play a prince.
Mhm.
I've always, wanted to be a swashbuckling British accent, um, Fantasyland prince, and I got to do it, albeit it was in a very bizarre show.
Mhm.
Um, but I got to work with Elijah Wood,
Oh, that's awesome.
um, which was, I mean, he's been a little hero of mine for a long time.
Mhm.
Um, and then, yeah, I would say When Hope Calls because this is the
Mhm.
first time like I've really played a role that I felt like was made for me, but
Mhm.
also behind the scenes, um, the it just really felt like a family. And another thing too is my son's birthday was while I was working, so he got to come to set um, with my wife and daughter, and my two kids got to be background performers that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a little Easter egg in the credits for When Hope Calls. My son's actually the boy who's playing catch in the shot there.
I love
So
that. That's so
yeah, so that was pretty impactful for me for
yeah.
sure.
So let's talk about When Hope Calls. Mountie Michael Fletcher has already become one of our favorite characters. Could you share a little bit about how you got that role? And were you a fan of the show before joining the cast this season?
Um, I was neither a fan nor not like I wasn't a fan, but I wasn't not a fan. I
Yeah.
just, if I'm being honest, I hadn't seen When Hope Calls
Yeah.
before I came back with season two.
Yeah.
But years ago, I uh, screen tested for. I think it's his name's Nathan, the one that Kevin McGarry's
Yes.
playing.
Nathan Grant. Yes.
Yeah. So I met that was the first time I met Aaron actually before Sandy
Awesome.
told me.
Yeah.
Ben was there too for that screen test for the same role. So that's
Oh,
also funny.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah, so me and Ben, we both screen tested with Aaron for the role of Nathan
that's awesome.
on When Calls the Heart. So this time around, so Alfonso is the showrunner on When Hope
Yeah.
Calls, and he was back then the showrunner on When Calls the Heart.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
he knew of me.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I sent a tape with a couple scenes on it. And then like a month later I got the offer.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm so glad you're a part of the show. This is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, thank you.
course, yes.
Yeah, spread the word. We need
Yes.
a season three.
Yes, I would love a season three.
I think something that might be holding people back is that they think they need to watch season one before they watch season two.
I don't think so. Of course, it would be great to go back and watch season one before season two, but I think viewers could probably pick up what's going
I
on.
feel like the opening too with Lillian kind of catching everybody up.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I think that helps.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have a favorite character in Brookfield besides your own?
Besides myself,
Yes.
I'm really liking Ronnie this season.
Love Roddy.
Yeah, every time he's on screen,
Yeah.
it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like he's really good. He's always up to something and he's
Yes.
hilarious. Yeah.
Real
I
grown and
say Ronnie's the standout this season for me.
yes. One of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes from episode one was the one with you and Ronnie in your office, the Mountie office.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
The end.
the
At the end.
statute of limitations run on
I
all
think
heck.
so. Yeah, yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
Will we see more of that dynamic develop more as the season goes on?
Me and Ronnie,
Yeah. Yeah.
you'll have to tune in to find out.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
You both have a great dynamic with one another on screen.
Thanks. That's actually another tidbit of information for you. Neil Crone, who plays Ronnie, and
Yeah.
I worked together on Midnight Masquerade,
That's
where
awesome.
he played the security guard at the law firm I worked at, but we were like best friends. And not to give anything away,
Oh,
but the movie's so old, I don't care. Um, at the end of it, he and I opened our own law practice.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's so great.
So we have already been a dynamic duo.
Yes. Fingers crossed for more in season two, and then fingers crossed for season three.
Yeah.
So, what do you love most about Michael Fletcher, and what traits of his do you see in yourself?
I love that is, well, he's called fearless, but I decided it's not that he doesn't have any fear, is that he acts despite of the fear.
Yeah. Mhm.
But he got the nickname Fearless Fletcher regardless. So I like that he's courageous.
Yeah.
Um, I like that he always has a sense of justice and wants to do the right thing no
Mhm.
matter what. And I like that he's very confident
Mhm.
and also very empathetic
Mhm.
and compassionate towards the people of his town or people in general.
Mhm.
And he's always trying to help out and just make life a little easier for everyone. Um, and he's funny without
Mhm.
knowing it sometimes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of traits. I try to be helpful to the people around me and empathetic and compassionate because you never know what someone's going through.
Yes.
And if you're always just worried about yourself and thinking about yourself, then well, um, to give is to receive,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, very true.
So yeah.
I always try to take that to heart too. Like, I always try to be kind to anyone I meet or talk to
Yeah,
because you never know what someone is going through.
exactly.
So, When Hope Calls has such a fantastic ensemble cast. Are there any particular cast members who've had a big impact on your experience and helped craft your role?
Oh, well, I Neil,
Yes,
he
you know.
uh
Yeah.
he definitely
Mhm.
impacted the way I was going to play Michael for sure in those scenes. And then it gave me, I mean, I already knew who I was going into it, but
Yeah.
you can only bring so much, and then you have to honor what the other actors are doing and sort of reciprocate, and it's a back and forth. So yeah, Neil for sure. He gave me a sense of play and fun that can be had on this set. Same with Cindy.
Mhm.
Um, definitely. Um, those two definitely stand out. And then Wendy Crewson.
Love her. Yeah.
It was crazy when I worked with her the first time. She just walked down on that set, and as soon as they called action, it's like there was so much life in the scene that could have just been two people sitting down looking at each other and really just not boring, but not much going on. But she just turned that room into a very exciting atmosphere. So that was really good too. But I have to say, everyone,
Everyone's.
this cast is amazing. Every single one of them.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Wendy, the first time I saw her was in the Santa Claus
Oh
movies.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Great
her
actor. Yes.
big hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fans already love the dynamic between Michael and Nora. Without giving anything away, are we going to see their relationship develop and grow closer as the season continues?
Yes, you are.
Yay!
But it won't come without its own trials and
Very
tribulations.
true. Yes. Anything worth having, you got to have some trials.
There you go.
There is
Yeah,
a relationship or a job, etc., etc.
sure. Yeah.
What was your favorite scene with Cindy this season, the film?
There's been a lot, but I think our wagon scenes
Those are
are
great. Yeah.
in episode 3.
Those are
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We got some good banter in there.
Yes, you do. I love the one when she's asking why you became a Mountie. I think it's in the trailer too. For
Yeah.
it's a great one.
Yeah.
Besides Michael and Nora, are there any standout moments that you enjoyed? And do you have a favorite set in Brookfield?
Oh, like for my characters, standout moments?
Yeah,
Yeah, when I jump off the balcony and save the girl from the car.
I love that too. That was great.
Yeah, that was really great too. And that's the first time my kids have been on set while I'm working. So to be able to do a scene like that in front of them, it was a very proud father moment for me. Um, so that stands out. Favorite set?
Mhm.
Uh, I think I really like the hotel,
Yeah, the
maybe
hotel's
because
great.
it's big.
Yes.
But it's really the whole thing. Like when you get to that town,
Hmm.
it's it's a real town. It looks
Yeah.
like, they built a real town.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's transportative. I really feel like I'm in 1920.
I would love for When Hope Calls to have a set tour like James
Yeah,
Brown does
yeah,
for When Calls the Heart.
yeah, we should.
If you could switch places with another character in Brookfield, who would it be and why?
Ah, I Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
That's a good
Then
one. Good.
yeah, I'd
Yeah.
trade with Ronnie.
I don't know who I would pick. That's a tough one. Probably Nora.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a
Yeah.
safe bet.
Yes.
Ronnie's a lot of fun, so I would love to play a character like
Yes.
that. He's so silly.
Yes. Or Maggie.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love
she's
helping people, so and she does a lot for the community as well. So
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the actors I've interviewed say that they enjoy the wardrobe from period work, and we know that When Hope Calls is a period piece. With the history and tradition of the Canadian Mountie, how did it feel wearing the red serge?
It was an honor.
Yeah,
Um, I
great.
mean, at first it was uncomfortable, but once I got used to it,
Yes.
um, yeah, it did a lot of the work for me so
Yeah.
far as getting in the mind space of,
Hmm.
this is 1920 and I'm this character.
Understandable. When I had Daniel on right before the movie aired,
Mhm.
Santa Tell Me, and he was telling me about wearing the Mountie uniform and the boots, having to tie the boots.
Oh, they're not fun. They're not
There's
fun.
laces.
They have too many laces and they're very difficult to get on because of the shape of them.
Yes. He
Yeah.
said he was glad to get those off at the end of the day, but it was like torture trying to get them off.
Yeah. Torture.
Yes.
Truly.
Did you have to do any special historical research or preparation for working on a period piece, like When Hope Calls?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah.
I like what was going on in the time, the Industrial Revolution, what would be happening in a northern like Canadian town around that time, and just sort of the history of the mounted police and
Mm-hmm.
what exactly someone like Michael Fletcher would have been doing at that time because initially my character is he's used for tracking down uh, criminals across the country, right? And then he ends up in Brookefield to replace Gabriel, or temporarily replace Gabriel because of an injury. So I was just researching what that meant and the yeah, basically like the protocols, the decorum of
Mhm.
that time, like how would a Mountie generally carry themselves?
Mhm.
What were the like just like basically the way they'd hold their hat or the way
Mhm.
they talk
Mhm.
or what each thing meant and why
Mhm.
and just certain aspects of it. Like because in the military you have certain
Mhm.
standards that they have to uphold, and
Mhm.
so to make sure that I was aware of those things, so it didn't come across inauthentic, but without doing a disservice to the show of When Hope Calls by being too historically accurate that it's just now it's kind of standing out too much. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I've always loved period pieces as well. Love that time period. If I could go back in time, I would probably pick that era, the early
Oh
1900s.
wow, yeah,
Yeah, because things were simple back then, or simpler.
they were.
Everyone was kind to everyone, and now that's
Well, it
not.
was more community oriented.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it like being a part of a show that you know will have a lasting impact on the fans, like the Hardys?
Well, yeah, I don't know, it feels really good. It's nice to be a part of something that already has a fan base, and then to see because I don't know if it was necessarily a worry, but there are other Mounties that have come before me, so I knew that there might be some comparisons or you know whatever. But th yeah, so far everyone's been very welcoming, open arms. I'm getting a lot of
Mhm.
positive appreciation for the role of Michael Fletcher. So it makes me feel really, really good and proud of the work we've done.
And you deserve it. You've done a great job so far,
Thank
of
you.
course. And there is no comparison for me. Every Mountie that has been on When Calls the Heart and When Hope Calls, they're great in their own way.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the hope.
If you could choose a dream film project, what would the storyline be and what kind of character would you portray?
Ooh. I'd do a remake of Willow and I'd be Mad Mardigan.
I've never seen that, but that
Yeah,
was
that's
awesome.
Val Kilmer's best role. Forget about the
Yeah.
dorks.
Hmm.
Yeah,
He was a great actor.
yeah. He was a huge inspiration for me as well growing up.
So, what classic movie role would you like to tackle besides the one you just mentioned, Willow?
Oh, like Chinatown
Oh,
with
I've never
Jack.
seen that either. That's a good one.
I'd like to play a private eye in LA in the 1950s.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Love that time period too. Do you have any other interests in the industry, such as writing, directing, or producing?
Yeah, all of those. I definitely would love to do that eventually. I've already written a couple scripts
That's awesome.
and we'll see what happens. One of them got optioned, so
Yeah,
fingers crossed. But
fingers.
yeah, I'd like to be more involved behind the scenes.
Yes. Behind the scenes is one of my favorite things of film making. Before we start to wrap up, I have a rapid fire favorites game if you would like to play.
Sure.
Dogs or cats?
Cats,
Pizza or tacos?
pizza,
Mac or PC?
Mac,
Yes, I have a Mac too. iOS or Android?
iOS,
Who's the GOAT? LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
He's great. Mountains or the coast?
Ooh, the coast.
Yeah, although I love the mountains too.
So do I, but
Drama, comedy, or action?
oh, ooh, really depends.
Hmm.
I guess drama.
Yeah, although I love comedy. They're all great.
Yeah,
Marvel or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Yeah, me too. Country or hip hop?
Oh, it really depends.
I know.
I'm gonna have to go hip hop.
Country for me, but hip hop's great.
Yeah,
Time travel to the past or the future?
the past.
Yes. What time period would you travel to if you could go back in time?
Probably just the late 70s.
70s are fun. Yeah, that's a great era. And then last one, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Dinner.
Yeah, dinner's great. At the end of my interviews, I always ask my guests to share an inspiring quote or piece of advice. Do you have a great quote or piece of advice you would like to share?
Huh. Well, this one's from FDR, which I've always taken to heart in those trying times, which is when you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on.
That's great. Great advice. I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you for sharing that. And where can my listeners find you on social media if they are not following you already?
I only have one social media account, and it's on Instagram, and it's Chris Russell Official.
Sounds
That's
good.
it. I'm not on Facebook, but someone's pretending to be me on Facebook, and for some reason, Facebook doesn't care.
Not
So
cool.
don't talk to that guy. It's
Not
not
cool.
me. Okay?
Sounds good. Everyone go follow him because he's awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Christopher, for taking the time to come on and chat with me today. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I will see you next time. Bye. All right, everyone. I think that wraps up my interview with Christopher Russell. If you enjoyed this episode and are watching on YouTube, you can like this video and share your favorite role of Christopher's in the comments and what you are looking forward to seeing with his character Mountie Michael Fletcher for the rest of When Hope Calls Season 2. If you are listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review as your feedback is always greatly appreciated. If you want to stay up to date on all of my episodes, you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube or follow along on Spotify, and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. You can also find the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Swing My Heart Podcast and Twitter at Swing My Heart Pod. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.